Yeah, you were here, weren't you? How's it going, everybody? Nick Steele here, or Nick Daniels, and we're hiding in a little bit of a tent. Yeah, tent. We're gonna be hiding in a tent for just a moment, and I want to talk about something, and then we're gonna get into today's video. So what I want to talk about is that I tried to do this video a while ago, about 2 weeks ago or so, and unfortunately it was like a fucking blizzard out here, and I thought you'd be able to hear me, and I went back on the playback, and like you literally just heard gusts of wind the entire video. Sometimes, yes, you're gonna hear those. And even sometimes fairly frequently, but most of the times it's pretty fair. Now when you go outside, so here, it's actually not that bad out. It looks kind of miserable, but it's just a light little rain out right now. So we're going to be talking about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I want to talk about this movie, do like an in-depth review, kind of thoughts on it. I've only ever seen it once. I never went back for the second showing, but don't get me wrong, I normally don't. But, you know, I go, like, get a DVD or whatever, download it online, legally, of course. But, you know, the biggest thing about The Last Jedi, in my opinion, was when I had first watched it, I left the movie, like, so unsatisfied, you know? It was one of those movies where you left and you were talking about it, and you were just, oh my god, like, no, it was like I left and I was like, wow, you know, fuck, that kind of sucked. And I really thought that for a long time, and I'm still not gonna, I'm still gonna say that it's my least favorite Star Wars movie, but I will tell you now that I have definitely re-looked at it, especially where some of the scenes are now on YouTube. Maybe the DVD's out, but a lot of the scenes are popping up on YouTube now, and you know, okay, maybe it wasn't as bad as I had made it to believe, but I'm going to talk about a lot of those things here, so sit back, relax, grab some popcorn. We're going to talk about the good and bad. So kind of where I was really interested, actually, was in the first part of the movie, when Poe's, and the spoilers, of course, Poe's flying towards the fucking dreadnought, taking out all the turrets. He flips around, kills off the 2 TIE fighters chasing him. Like, right there, I'm sold. Right, I'm thinking, wow, this is pretty fucking good. Like, there's some good action. There was a little comedy in the start there. You know, I'm not personally, I'm not crazy about that, but you know, that's okay. You know, I understand what they're doing, and kind of from there, in my opinion, like a lot of things went really downhill. A lot of the negatives I find were just things that were drawing out the movie a little too long. I personally really enjoyed Luke and Kylo, even though it wasn't really Luke. Like, it was, you know, obviously his Force ghost that he spanned across like fucking galaxies, but the fact though that like it was actually kind of cool, because it was like all of a sudden Luke's at the lightsaber, so I guess you could kind of have called that a lightsaber duel, but they never actually clashed lightsabers. But yeah, no, it was cool. Like, Luke was dodging and shit, and like I said, there was a good funny moment where Kylo's shooting all the AT-AT shots, and there's like 2 AT-ATs and then the new version of them. They're all shooting right where Luke is, and then he like kind of pats his shoulder off like there was some dust or something, and that's always like a taunt, right? So like I said, that was another one that I was like, oh shit. And again, Rey's still getting better with the Force, and I liked her and Luke between that. You know, I was almost kind of hoping for like, I kind of call it like a Rocky Balboa moment, where both of them were going to lick their wounds, they were going to train and come back and fight, like Kylo Ren and Rey. But that didn't happen. But I like that kind of Luke was, yes, kind of beat down. I do understand that now, that he was like kind of beat down, but I thought at the end when they had showed Luke looking into the water and his X-Wing was in the water, that he would have been like, okay, fuck, and that's why he showed up, and maybe kind of copied it from Obi-Wan's death, where he would have gave hope to Rey and sacrificed himself, right? Or whatever, and became a Force ghost. I definitely would have bought that, because that's what I thought was going to happen from when I was watching. So yeah, kind of something there. The Leia scene, Princess Leia, doing the, like, if you watch it, there's like a parody where they put like the Superman music on it. It's actually pretty fucking gold, to be quite honest with you. But now, like I said, that scene in itself is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that I mean, okay, let me explain it here. Yes, I can believe that it happened and whatever. It's the way that it was done, to me, just felt so odd. But it is, yes, obviously mentioned that, you know, Leia has the Force. Now, to what extensions, we don't know. Obviously, she hasn't been trained in that. but I'm assuming now by the title The Force Awakens, it wasn't necessarily referring to Rey, it was referring to her. But I thought that since Carrie Fisher has passed away, that would have been a good way to kind of send her on her way in the series. Would have been when Kylo hesitated, and I like that too. Kylo hesitated to blow up the bridge because it was his mother, and one of the other TIE bombers or TIE fighters blew it up. General Akbar ends up flying out into space too and dying, and they don't really highlight that or talk about that. That was kind of a big deal. I mean, you know, he's again been in there for so long that's a big deal. But anyway, they let that go. And like I said, Leia just flies in, and there's no like fucking airlock or anything. She literally just floats through and just lands right into the ship. And I was like, when anybody got sucked out to space letting her in? Or and like I said, yes, I understand what happened there. I'm pretty sure she kind of like surrounded herself with like a little bit of the Force, protected herself, and that's why she like floated towards the ship. She was like pulling herself that way with the Force because she reached her hand out, right? And obviously it awakened in her last moments. And maybe it was supposed to be more of a depressing movie, but I just found it was really fucking sad. Like, the Resistance had barely anything after winning from the last movie. Like, I was pretty sure they fucking won. They took out the Starkiller base. The bombers in the beginning, I know it's such a nitpick, but why did the bombs fall? There's no gravity. So when the ships were going, like, was there something in it that just attracted them to the Dreadnought? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if they're trying to base that off gravity, the bombs wouldn't have fallen. They would have just, like, hovered in space. Just saying. But that's a nitpick. That's nothing against that movie specifically, really. That's just in general. But the bombers, yeah, they just kind of seem sluggish. And then people were bitching about their losses. And I'm like, listen, you took out a Dreadnought and you lost, like, 8 ships. Like 8 fighters. You shouldn't be worried. You did way more damage to the enemy than you took your own, and that's how wars and battles are going to go. Is you're gonna lose on both sides. The woman who takes over the main ship, though, I didn't like her. I think she had like purple hair. I don't remember her name. I just realized I didn't like her right off the get-go. She seemed utterly useless. Like, she wasn't doing anything to help the final Resistance members escape or do anything, except when she finally blasted into light speed and took out most of the fleet, which hopefully they could have just done that from the beginning. That would have been nice. The planet, when they go to and they do like their combat there, like, I love that the Resistance members all literally can fit on the Millennium Falcon at the end. I thought that was kind of amusing. Snoke dying, originally I was super pissed off about this, but I have come to terms with the fact that was basically the Emperor as well. The Emperor was very, well, you know, you've seen a little bit of the Emperor though in the movies, but then in the final movie, of course, you see the most of him. And you know, and he's almost killed in a similar manner. You know what I mean? Where you don't really get a lot of his story or anything. So Snoke was kind of the same. But Snoke, at least in this series, you barely see any of in any movie. And then the second movie, they just, you know, it's like a good, I'd say it was like, what, like a good maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and he was killed. So, you know, I'm iffy with the Snoke scene. I'm like, I understand, yes, he was overhyped. But, like, at this end of the day, though, you have to realize you can't, like, talk a character up like that and then just, you know, and he's dead. The fight scene, though, with the honor guards and stuff that were there, that was really cool, fighting those two. But I knew that Kylo and Rey were not going to be buddies after that. It wasn't going to be cool. Finn and Rose, again, it's just this forced romance that I don't care for. I think they could have done away with the entire subplot of them going to the planet and coming back by the time the ship was still being chased by a Star Destroyer. Like, that to me makes no fucking sense. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. But basically, yeah, I think they wasted a lot of time doing that. And again, it was a part of milking the movie. They go into this big casino, and it looks like a fucking Star Wars, or not a Star Wars set, a Harry Potter set. Like, it's all mystical, and you gotta watch it. You'll know what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. But again, like, a lot of that I was getting a little bored through. And then they find this hacker to get him onto the ship, and the same idea. Like, he just trades over sides immediately, and it was like, oh, okay, that was a waste of time. Captain Phasma there, instead of just shooting the 2 intruders and killing them, and that would have been the end of that, has to execute them with fucking axes, basically. And they take so long to swing that obviously they get saved at the last minute. And of course, Captain Phasma dies. And again, you know, probably could have did a little better with the role, but that's what they have. That's what the actor is given. The actor is a great actor. She's from Game of Thrones, what I recognize her from, and she's a fantastic actor. But again, when you get certain roles, you can only do so much, right? But apparently that armor is laser proof. Like, the lasers were not affecting the armor, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Badass. But overall, like I said, not necessarily a wasted character, but they really could have, I don't know, I think they could have did more with her, but it's what it is. Not to mention in the first movie, how'd she get off the fucking planet when it blew up? We don't know. Just saying. But like, yeah, like I was saying, the main movie, like the main fucking plot line, that these Star Destroyers are slower than the Rebel fleet, so they're lagging behind, and they're constantly just shooting at the rear shields, but they won't be able to penetrate them at that distance. So the shot must lose its power by the time it gets there, so it's too weak to even get to the shield. So they're gonna wait till they run out of gas. That's their plan. They'll run out of gas, and then we can finally catch up to them and blow them up. And I think it's funny, like, you know, the shots are arcing in space yet again, no gravity. And, you know, like, again, like, could you not have warped out and warped back in right on top of them? Or are you telling me that the cannons can't blow them up? Or like the big planet that shot down at the base? I actually read a comment on YouTube that said shoot the fleet first, so they have nowhere to go, and then blow up the planet, like, and then blow up the base. Like, why do they have like that big weapon and not just blow up the fleet first? It was just sitting idle. They're like, man, blow up the big flagship first. Now they're fucked, right? Now they can't escape. So that was interesting. That was and they could track him through hyperspace, so that's why it wouldn't have done them any good to jump out. Maybe they could have jumped into an asteroid field. I don't know. Might have helped them. So I kind of, like I said, I pretty much overall, Yoda coming in, it looked like his original puppet. I didn't mind that so much. But again, I just thought that some of the things were kind of odd and didn't play well to what I expected, and then other things kind of worked out kind of nice. Overall, I don't know. I'd recommend the movie, but I wouldn't. I'm not like crazy about it by any means. I guess it's up to interpretation. Like I said, I've talked to people that have thoroughly enjoyed the movie, and I've talked to dozens of people that have told me they really didn't enjoy the movie. And again, and that's the problem with movies these days, right? And especially when you talk to people, because not everybody's going to be 100% on with, fuck, I really like this film, I really enjoyed what I saw here today. And then there's other people that were like me, that were just kind of like literally on the fence. It was like, okay, I have no fucking idea what to make of what I just saw. Let's play it out. And, you know, maybe rewatch it or something and get some better insight into things, and, you know, look up a little bit of information. So when you do talk with the movie, well, there you go. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let me know what you folks thought of that film. We're inside, not in the cold. We'll see you later. Peace.